Hello and welcome to Chocolate Covered Games. We're about to get ready for our monthly melt for the month of April
2022.
2022. And as always, we like to kick off with our top fives.
Yep.
For this month, Doug's got to choose who our
Yep.
top fives are.
And for this month, I chose our top five card only games. So no dice, uh, no board. Now, I do have one that has a prop,
See?
but it doesn't, you don't need that as part of the game. So we'll let you start with your number five.
Okay. My number five, I'm pretty sure is not on your list because I don't think you've ever played it.
Nope.
I've played it one time, well, not one time, but like once with a group a couple of times.
All right.
And that's Cockroach Poker.
Okay.
It's an incredibly fun game.
Is that the one with the card on your head?
No, this one you get dealt a couple cards, and on the cards you'll have like a picture of a cockroach or a rat or a bat. Then you take one of your, like one person takes one of their cards and they say, "This is a bat," and they pass it to so and so. And you can either say, "No, it's not," without looking at it, and flip it over. And if it's not, it goes back to that person. If it is, it stays with you. Or you can look at the card and say, "Okay," and then you pass it to somebody else, and you can say, "This is a bat," or you could be like, "He was lying. This is a cockroach."
Okay.
And then, it goes around, and then whoever gets, I think it's 3 of one type loses. And then whoever has like the least then wins.
Okay.
So it's just a bluffing game, just
Alright.
in general. There's 6 different types of cards, and you just keep going around saying, this is, or, they're wrong.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So my number 5 is Cockroach Poker. It's a very fun game. It's only cards.
All right. So my number 5 is Tanto Curo. And it's set collection. Is that how you describe it?
Not really. Well, there's one. There's like
It's
one card that
deck
has
building. It's deck building set collection because you're buying maids.
Yeah.
In the one.
You're hiring mates.
Yeah.
Well, in all of them you are.
Yeah. Well, like the Oktoberfest one is.
They're still maids.
Yeah.
They're bar maids, or
Yeah.
they're vacation maids, or
Yeah.
they're snow maids. It's this blank followed by
Because we have the Oktoberfest one, right?
correct.
Yeah. So you're purchasing or hiring maids,
Yes.
and then you're trying to put them in your house,
Correct.
and that's how you score the points is by being able to, once you purchase them, put them in your house and basically protect them.
Yeah.
There are cards that will take them out of your house, and then you don't get the points for them because you only score the points for the ones that you've purchased and were able to put in your house.
Yeah.
I like it. Of course, it's my 5.
Yeah.
Just because it was one of those first card only games that we learned. I played a lot of it online. The app version's wonderful because it does a lot of the cleanup for you, and all that. And that's probably how I prefer to play it. Is the online way. It's not a game for everybody just because of the artwork. If you're not a fan of that anime artwork in Japanime games is decisive on that. You either really like the artwork, you don't, because of the nature of that artwork as well. I wouldn't say it's adult themed, but
No. You're thinking of a different category, which is not.
well, no, but they are. Some of the ones are scantily clad, and
Yeah.
it's not like a game you're gonna pull out with your 6-year-old.
Yeah, you could. Depends how you raise your 6-year-old.
But I enjoy it, and so my number 5 is Tanto Curo.
Yep. Okay, my number 4 is one of the earlier games we played. And that is Sushi Go, a set collecting game where you're just passing back and forth among however many people you're playing with. Super simple, easy to teach people. Other than that, that's the main reason I made my list. It's probably I wouldn't say it's the simplest game on my list. That's number one, but it's probably the second simplest on my list to teach. You can say, hey, it tells you on the card you need so many of these, or you need the most of this.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is Sushi Go.
Yeah. And we haven't played Sushi Go Party.
No, though I heard it is better.
Yeah. But Sushi Go is a great introductory game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was your number 4. My number 4, I'm surprised, is not on your list.
I might have erased it. I probably think I know what your number 4 is.
So my number 4 is DC Deck Builder.
No, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
A lot of people don't like this game because there's a theme on it, but the game is themeless.
Well, a lot of people don't like the Cryptozoic deck system for some reason.
Yeah. For some reason, Cryptozoic gets a lot of hate.
Hey, they make a lot of different deck builders that people are buying.
Yeah.
So you can...
well, Renegade is now picking that up.
Yeah.
Because Renegade came out with the Transformers and the G.I. Joe, which I need to get those because I love those IPs. Anyways, the DC Deck Builder, it's just buying cards, playing cards.
Mm-hmm.
Legendary would make my list as well, but there's a board. Mm-hmm. You technically don't need the board.
I've never seen anybody play that game with the board. They're like, hey, I brought this game. Should we pull out the board? Nah, leave the board in there.
It would be really hard to do without the board because I guess some of the cards do say in the sewers, on the bridge, things like that. So you couldn't play without it.
Yeah.
But DC Deck Builder, you don't need any board. I guess there are play mats out there for it probably.
Yeah, they're play mats that say, put
your
row here.
And the number of expansions.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of expansions.
Which I will get into when we do our crowdfunding segment.
We have a couple of expansions.
I think I have 4 in total. 2 big ones and a small.
We have the big box.
Which I will get into our crowdfunding segment.
Still, it's on my 5.
Well, no, I'm letting the people know. It's a hint to watch our crowdfunding segment. See, I'm promoting future videos.
But those little expansions, we have 1. I'd like to get some more of those because they look really cool. Mm-hmm. But again, DC Deck Builder, if you like deck building, it's a simple deck builder. Mm-hmm. If you don't like deck building, you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy deck building. It's my favorite genre of game, mechanic of game. So my number 4, DC Deck Builder.
Okay. For my number 3 favorite card-only game is an abstract game, sort of. It has a theme on it. Yeah. The original one didn't have a theme.
Yeah.
And that is Brave Rats, where it's just 18 cards. Both people have 1 through 9, and each card tells you a different power. Like, if you play the Queen and I play the King, you would win that hand.
Yeah, it's a trick-taking game.
Yeah.
With powers.
Powers, yeah. And it's the first one to take 3 tricks. Unless, certain other things happen.
Yeah.
It's a good game. You can still find it out there.
Yeah. It's good for kids. It's a good introductory trick-taking with powers.
And also it helps kids learn how to count cards because you can see everything that's out there.
Yeah.
Like, they played the 4-7.
Because you want kids to learn how to count cards.
It's a valuable lesson. That comes into my number 1 game eventually.
Yeah.
You see, they played the 4, 7, and 5, so those are off the list. Yeah. And you see what you played, you're like, okay, so he'll most likely play this next.
Yeah. For me, Brave Rats is good. Mm-hmm. For that style, though, I like Fox in the Forest. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised Custom Heroes didn't make your list. That's all cards. Yeah. And it's in that same genre.
Custom Heroes was okay.
But no, I know you like Brave Rats.
Plus, the Custom Heroes has that little board.
Oh, yeah, you hide your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that was my number 3, Brave Rats.
Right. So my number 3 has a prop that you don't need.
Correct.
Mainly because the last couple times we played it before I bought a copy. Mm-hmm. So I have a copy now and I haven't opened it. Or I've opened it but I haven't played it.
Yeah.
The prop wasn't there because it was so run down. But Guillotine. Mm-hmm. Man, do I enjoy this game. And you don't need the prop guillotine at the end of the row. It's just the end card goes away. But manipulation of the royals in that road to be put to death. I just find that really fun. I find it very thinky because you're okay. So 5 cards out, he would get that card, but I need that card because it helps scoring with this card. Is there a way I can play one of my cards to move it? But then is he going to move something that's going to mess that up? There's so much to think about in this very simple card game, really. And I just really enjoy that. I enjoy that thinkiness of it. Granted, it wasn't a great time in history. It's a grim theme.
Well, for those people that were,
Alive.
monarchs. If you weren't a monarch,
yeah,
slightly better, sort of.
But still, it's not heavily themed, so you can play with kids.
Yeah.
They probably think it's funny that you're manipulating people around like that. But again, my number 3 is Guillotine.
Okay, my number 2 is my deck building game on this list, and that is Hero Realms. I think it moved up over all the other deck builders, mainly because this one also gives you a campaign story that you can play, which is nice. So if you don't have anybody to play with, or you have a big group and you just don't want to play a standard deck builder, you can be like, hey, there's 9 scenarios that we can play through together eventually. A lot of people are slowly trained to this one because Star Realms is winding down. I think they just claimed they made their last expansion after like 15 expansions. Hero Realms is gonna, I think, start picking up that slack. They are working on a app, which I think that's what really helped Star Realms when they became big. So my number 2 is Hero Realms.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised. I've only ever played this game one time.
I played it a couple times.
Yeah, but I've only played it once.
Yeah.
As much as I like deck building, I don't know why I haven't played it more. I need to get into that. That was your number 2. My number 2 is a game from a company I am surprised you have no games on your list.
Is it from Blue Orange?
From Button Shy. Considering Button Shy is probably the company we own the most of.
A lot of props in their games.
No, there's not.
Full wagon for Circle the Wagon.
Yeah, you have to go out and buy a Conestoga wagon.
Full graveyard for what is it called? Skull Dust, Sickle.
That last one we almost made my list here because I enjoyed that. But my number 2 is solo player game, and it's Sprawlopolis. Great game. Probably the best game Button Shy has made. And there's some other good ones. Circle the Wagons, Tussie Mussy.
Oh, what's that game with the desert road trip?
Death Valley.
Death Valley, I thought it would have been on your list.
Arcane Bakery Clash you love. The wrestling one you love.
That it could have been good. The rules
were bad for that one, but Mint Julep,
which we got fine.
It's in your car.
I haven't seen it.
Why are there? Yeah, why are? But Button Shy is, some of the games you do need coins or something to keep score or whatever. But Sprawlopolis, solo player only. And the way that they made this game where scoring conditions are on the back of the cards and they change each game, and you're building roads or trying to get different types of city next to each other. And man, it is a very thinky, puzzly game. And the times I've sat down to play it, I've sat down and played it 5, 6, 7 times in a row. Because once I start playing it, I just got to keep playing it. I got to play the other one, Agropolis. Because we got that and I haven't played it yet. And then did we get the thing that you can combine the two?
We have Combopolis.
Yeah.
We have currently all of their expansions, and they just announced another expansion.
Okay.
That I got an email through the Kickstarter since I backed one of their things.
And if you haven't tried any Button Shy games, give them a try. They're a lot of fun for only being 18 cards.
Yep.
Except that last one we played.
18. A lot of their card games that they put out now, they're like, there's 12 expansions. I'm like, well, that bumps up to like 35 cards.
Yeah, that last one we played, there was 6 expansions, 7 expansions.
1, 2.
We played it 7 times. I looked.
Yeah.
So there had to be at least 6
expansions.
expansions, other than the 7th, because there was a solo one that I didn't play. And that was Skulls of Delic or something like that.
Tussie Muss, a bunch of their games now have a bunch of.
Yeah.
That's why I believe Button Shy should have a secondary company like a lot of board games do, and do 52 cards.
Yeah.
Do a tuck box.
Or like the one game, I guess, coming in your what you call it, crowdfunding.
Have a billion cards?
No, with the wallet, go, because they're basically bifold wallets. Do a trifold wallet.
Yeah.
And you can add 9 more cards.
Yeah.
Or, the checkbook wallet, and you could add, 18 more cards.
Well, you get the wallets that you see that they advertise at like 11 at night, the ones that like hide your information in a clip, and it's like 5 little slots.
Yeah.
Do you want those?
So anyways, my number 2, Sprawlopolis.
And my number 1 on my list is probably the oldest game on my list.
Probably because
by a huge margin.
My number 1's not that old.
Yeah, and that is Hearts. It's just a deck of cards.
Yeah.
It's my number 1. I think it made my top 5 this past year on my top 100 list, and that's just because it's the game I probably played most of my life, and I still play it on my phone when I get the chance to. But this is another game that's great to learning how to count cards.
Yep, all about counting cards.
No, I'm just saying, you sit down.
I'm guessing you want to start like a counting card team and go to Vegas.
Well, no, I'm just saying if that's like a skill that you want to have for some reason, you can learn this on the side. You're like, okay, I know what they've played the last round and this round, and everything starts dwindling down. No, I mean you don't know what everybody has, but the options are out there. But yeah, Hearts, simple game.
No, I've played this one a lot, and mainly app or on the computer. Mm-hmm. Very rarely have I ever played this like in person with 3 other people. Because you need 4. You can't play it at 2.
Well, there was a board game on BGG like Hearts for 2 or something like that. But
and I guess you could just deal out all the cards to 2 people.
Yeah, I think because on my phone it keeps track of my stats. I think I'm at something like 1,200 games on the app, like full games. I still don't think that beats how many I've played in person yet.
No, see, I maybe in person, I'm maybe a handful.
Oh no, for a good 6 years straight, I played Hearts every morning. So with a bunch of people.
In school, we played blackjack. Yeah. We created a hockey league using blackjack.
Now, I have started playing the game Sevens more now, which is another really old parlor game. But Hearts still takes it for me.
You need to get into poker and start winning us money.
I don't know how to count cards.
So that was your number 1?
Yep.
My number 1, again, we'll lead into our crowdfunding later. My number 1 is Birds of a Feather.
Okay.
It is a set collection game because I guess it's set collection because you're trying to collect the different types of birds that you see.
You're collecting regions, like the mountains.
But you have to collect a different type of bird in each region.
Yeah.
So it's set collecting. But this was one of the first 5 games that we played in the hobby.
Yeah.
When we came back, like into the hobby, because the first one we played was Castle Panic. And did we play anything else that first day?
The Duke.
No.
Yeah.
Not at the game table at Second Charles. We played Castle Panic. I think that's what we played there.
We played we also played what's the one where somebody's the Sheriff of Nottingham?
Yes. Okay, so those were the first 2 games we played. And then the next time we went, we played the Duke, Birds of a Feather, and Jarl.
Yep.
So this was like the 4th game we played getting back into the hobby. I fell in love with it, even though it's for 4 players. You can play it at 2. It's The other 2 players are random.
Yeah, they're dummy players.
And watch our crowdfunding video for this month. I'll drop hints too. But it's a great game. It's good for 4 people. Very easy to learn. There is some strategy. And overall, I just really enjoy that game. That's what makes it my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our 5s for April of 2022. Let us know what your favorite games are that use cards only.
Yep.
In the comments. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button.
Yep.
Subscribe. Like, share, ring the bell, whatever else there is. Follow us on Instagram. I don't know if Tim's been posting anything there.
Yeah, whenever we play something.
Okay. So not very often.
Not lately.
I don't know if we have any other social media. But just follow us wherever you see us. Mm-hmm. And with that, thank you for watching 5s for April of 2022.
Stay sweet.
Hello and welcome to Chocolate Covered Games. Games played for April of 2022. Mm-hmm. This month we played... Well, I played 3 games. Yep. You played 4.
Yep.
So what was the first game here?
The first game we played was Tussie Mussy, a game about flower arrangements.
Yep.
It's from Button Shy. I enjoyed it. It probably wasn't my favorite game of the month.
I'm trying to remember this. Again, because we played it more than like an hour ago.
Yep. Okay. So, there's one card face up and one card face down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then you go back and forth choosing if you want the face up one or the face down.
Yeah, because the face down one is your keepsakes.
Yes.
Versus your bouquet. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a good game. Mm-hmm. Made you think and decide what choices. Because depending on what flower you had, what their scoring effects were. Because there were times where you just took all 4 down cards.
Yeah.
And hoped that something worked.
Yep.
Or you because you could really hate draft.
Yeah.
With this. And you did that a couple times. I could see why Tussie Mussy is one of Button Shy's bigger games.
Well, it's also their most... Well, it's been released, there's 3 games after it. But it's one of the more recent games.
Yeah, but it's one of their biggest.
Yeah.
In fact, Tussie Mussy probably is their biggest.
No. I would think their biggest is probably still...
Well, Sprawlopolis.
Yeah.
But for non-solo,
yeah,
it's Tussie Mussy. But yeah, good game. Again, Button Shy, check out their games. They're good games in small packages.
Mm-hmm. So then the second game we played was, as I said, the first
You have the list.
I have this in 48 font.
You just because you can't say the last word. Skulls of Sedek. Again, it's a Button Shy game. I enjoyed this one. Mm-hmm. You were forming a not a graveyard, but basically like mausoleum. You're forming a mausoleum because you needed people basically buried on the different levels of it. Yeah. There were 6 levels because each card had 2 different skulls on it, and each skull represented royalty, peasant, priest, and prisoners.
Romantics.
So there were 5. So, like, for royals, you wanted at least one royal to be high on your mausoleum because you got a point for each royal, and peasant below them.
Yeah.
Priest, you wanted 1 on each level because you got 2 points for that. Prisoners, you want it beside the priest. Mm-hmm.
Romantics wanted to be next to each other. Peasants didn't care where they got.
Peasants didn't care. And, because the first couple times we played, I scored a lot of points using the priest and prisoners. Mm-hmm. But then when we started adding in all the expansions, that really changed up the way the game played, I thought.
Yep.
Because I couldn't just focus on that. Because there was the one where you needed romantics, but they couldn't be touching each other. That was the playwright one, I think.
Yep.
Where you needed a single romantic touching the playwright, and then there was one where you got for all the priests touching each other, wasn't it? Or
that was the champions where you had to have certain groups
Yeah.
touch each other. You had the guards that had to be next to a royal.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, the guards had to be above royals.
Yeah.
And that one was really hard because for us they came out early, so I had cards where all my guards have been on the bottom, and you can only have 2 cards in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to put one into the mausoleum. You can't draft anymore. So each expansion really changed the game up.
Mm-hmm.
And again, 18 card base game, and then they added a ton. This was what we were saying they could have made this a bigger wallet game, or a box game.
I tell you, they should move up to tuck boxes for some of these.
Yeah, but it was a really good game. For me, I think it moved up on my button shy list of games. I really enjoyed it, and that was Skulls of Sedek.
I will say, for like the 14 people that do watch our monthly melts, this is another location that we've been filming at. This table that we're filming at, I think would be perfect for what I suggested, where we take all the expansions of Skulls of Sedek and have one mega game.
We'd have to.
Because how tall the mausoleum would be.
Yeah. And actually, we'd have to sit like here and over there.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be right across from each other.
No. But that was the second game we played. The third game we played this month was Creature Comforts.
Yeah.
This is by Big Kid Table Games. I think I said it right.
Big Kids Game Tables or
something like that.
Now I gotta maybe look it up. You can talk about it.
But Creature Comforts is a worker placement game where you share one set of work. Well, you don't really share your workers. It's a game where you have dice.
Yeah, it's dice play. Well, it's worker placement / dice placement.
Yeah. There's community dice that there's 4 of, and then you have your own 2 dice. Yep. And because the dice determine where you can place your workers, but before you know what the dice are, you place your workers hoping that you roll what you need.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little twist. Looking up how it's pronounced.
No, I'm not looking up how it's pronounced.
No, the company. The
Kids Table board game.
Kids Table board.
Kids Table BG.
But this is a worker placement that's been getting a lot of good buzz. People are saying, this is going to be the thing that replaces Stone Age.
Yeah, I like the theme much better, especially because it's all Canadian animals.
Well, North American, but
it's Canadian lynx. But
I think the thing it has over Stone Age, which has been like the main worker placement entrance game, is what you said, the animals, because it adds that one more thing where it adds here's a visitor to your inn that you can do something special. Yeah. So it's always changing.
Well, and so's the meadows.
The meadow and the forest change constantly as well.
Because they change per season, and that can really determine the game too.
Yeah.
Because you can buy certain things in the summer that you can't buy in the winter, and you buy certain things in spring that you can't get in the fall. So you really have to.
Granted, you can't buy anything in the winter because that's when the game's over.
Yeah, so it's spring, summer, fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just having to buy those resources and figure out what you need for what's out on the board to purchase as a comfort, to build that comfort.
Then you hope certain other comforts come out because they work well with each other.
Yeah, and then having to store things on those comforts to get the bonus points, buying the things that were on the side of the board, the different like upgrades. There's a lot going on in this game,
and we didn't even play with the one expansion, which gives each player a character card.
Yeah,
that gives you certain solo bonuses for yourselves.
Yeah. But there's a lot going on, but it's very simple. That was the thing I liked.
Yeah.
That there were lots of choices, but still very simple, and you could go to the same place as your opponent. So you could both go to the inn, you could both go to the meadow, you could both go...
Yeah, there was no limit of how many people can go to a spot, which was nice. So no one was boxed out.
But you may not have been able to use that.
Yeah.
Depending on the dice roll, because all you knew before you placed your worker was your personal 2 dice. Those other 4 dice may have never helped you.
Yeah, and that's happened a couple times where I had like a 4 and a 6, and all I needed was a 5. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to this spot where you need to go in ascending order. You need 3 dice. So I'm like, not a problem. And we didn't roll a 5. I'm like, well, that worker did nothing this turn.
Or all evens, or all odds, or especially those ones where you had to get like more than 12 points in 3 dice, and maybe you had two 5s, but everything else that came out. Okay, do I want to use one of the dice there? But then I needed to use it here to buy this. So it was.
And it didn't penalize you for not being able to use it, because it gave you a little plus minus chip that you could use on a future turn to manipulate the dice to hopefully get you what you wanted.
Yeah. Really good game. Really good entry level game. If you've got younger kids, I think it said 8+ on there.
Yeah.
I think is what the
really nice art.
I was going to look up.
I was going to say the components were super nice, but I got the deluxe version, so
it says 8+. It's funny. It plays 1 to 4. They're saying it plays best at 2.
I can see that.
I thought it played really well. So I think at 3-4 it would start to drag out, and I don't think it would change the game that much.
No,
because you're really playing against the dice.
Yeah. I don't think it drags as slow as other games, mainly because you place before you roll the main dice, so somebody's not sitting there going, oh, I got all these dice.
Yeah.
It's more of a leap of faith kind of thing.
And while the one person is playing, you could be planning
your turn.
Because you see what the community dice are. They don't change.
Yeah. So
that was Creature Comforts from Kids Table Board Games.
Yep. And the last game of the month.
I did not play.
I tried to have you play it, but you wanted. Because I couldn't play this with you, mainly because it is a solo game, by all means. And, well, not by all means, because it was made for solo. It's another button shy game called Rage More, where you are a adventuring party that have to go out on quests and, destroy certain monsters and whatnot. It's a fun game. I'm not going to say it's terrible. I will say out of the 4 games this month, this is my least favorite of the 4. Okay. That's not on it. It was a tough month to come out on top for these 4.
Yeah.
So just by default, it became my least favorite game, which is kind of sad. Because it doesn't take long to play. I think it took me 10 minutes. I played through twice. I lost both times towards the end of the game. It's a very puzzly game because you can't have certain things touching each other. You can't have certain things die on you while you're still trying to kill other things. It's very easy to lose and very thinky to win. Because you have to have so many cards of the same type defeated. But every time you defeat a card, that card comes out of rotation. With only 18 cards to begin with, you start losing cards fast.
Yeah.
So, Rage More is a fantastic game. I would suggest to play it. But like the thing above me says, least favorite game of the month. Just the pain of having to go against 3 other really great games.
Yeah. This month, all 3 games that I got to play were fantastic. I don't know if I can pick a favorite.
I would say this one's probably your favorite.
The Skulls of Sedek.
Yeah.
It would be a toss-up between that and Creature Comforts. But yeah, I guess I'll go with that one. Skulls of Sedek. we played it the most. We played it 7 times.
Yep.
But because it doesn't take very long, and we went to do all the expansions, and I enjoyed it. So that was games played for April of 2022.
Yep.
Do hit the thumbs up.
Yep.
The like, I guess that is the thumbs up. No.
That's the thumbs up.
Okay.
No one's like, hey, thumbs up. And also like.
Well, like, that could be ultra like.
Yep.
Subscribe.
Yep, we're getting close to 50 subscribers.
Share the video. Let us know what games you played this month.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people got to play more than we have. Hopefully, May will get to play more before my work really picks up and we don't get to play much.
Yeah.
We just got to sit down and actually play through our Shelf of Shame.
There's only like 3 games on there.
Yeah. But again, like, subscribe, check us out on Instagram, whatever other social media we got.
We're on chocolate covered games with all of them. But with that being said, as always, stay sweet. Hello and welcome to Chocolate Covered Games monthly melt segment of crowdfunding for the month of April 2022.
Yep.
This month we both have 3 projects for this crowdfunding segment. I will go first.
All right.
The first project I'd like to bring to people's attention is the game called Barnyard, a build or a bifold game. It comes in a small little fake leather wallet, like many of the Button Shy games do.
Yeah.
This is not from Button Shy though. This is from BGB Publishing.
Okay.
They had at least one other game that they've done. This is a 2-player drafting card game.
Okay.
So it has the drafting mechanic. It does come with a free expansion since it's backed so well. And it does have a solo variant that you can download yourself. It is a game where you are, it's kind of like your game Guillotine, where it has a line of cards that you manipulate, and whatever card's at the top is the one the person has to take, draft. But at the beginning of each turn, there's 2 cards that lets you manipulate the line in certain ways.
Okay.
And then at the end of the game, you have a grid of 3x3 that you're placing your animals that you've drafted, and certain animals want to be next to certain things, and other things want to be.
So it's that one where you're replacing people to sit to eat.
Yeah. Or like the other one that we just played, Skulls of Citic, where but it has that guillotine mechanic where there's a line of cards and you manipulate that line, and then at the end you place your things. Looks interesting. I'll probably end up backing it just because I like these style of games with 18 cards. There were a couple people on here saying oh, they're tricking us because it looks like a Button Shy game and their page is set up like a Button Shy game, and the company says it's just this how it is because it's this 18 card game and they're not going to put it in a huge box.
Yeah. That's why you make it with 9 more cards. You put it in a trifold wall.
Yeah. I agree with the company. A game company doesn't have all these games are just this company.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not every Ticket to Ride size box should be whatever that is now.
Way to make your point. I was gonna make it simple and say every game with a lot of minis is in CMOS.
Yeah.
But I guess
But this is packaging that they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean the page is set up like how.
Yeah, but not every Ticket to Ride size box is.
Do you know the company?
Is that Asmodee or Days of Wonder?
It's Days of Wonder because it's on the Days of Wonder app. But it's just how small games gonna be.
Yeah,
it's not gonna have a ton of thing.
Yeah,
if it came in a handy dandy little sack to carry them, I'm like, oh, they're stealing it from Love Letters
or a tin.
Yeah,
from that Mintworks company. While theirs come in the mint tins.
Now all Monopoly games are made by the op.
Yeah. But 99% of them are terrible.
Yeah. So that
we're coming that style box.
I guess I should say
So are they funding?
Yeah, it's funded.
Okay.
Their goal is 4,000. They're over 6 at this point.
When does it go off?
It goes off April 29th at 8:30 p.m.
Right, so it's done.
Well, not yet. Well, because I'm gonna put this video up before
Yeah.
that.
Way to go.
It's $10 to back at what I'm gonna say is the button shy looking version
Okay.
with the non fancy wallet, but you can bump it all the way up to $24,
Ooh.
where it goes into a deluxe leather wallet.
There you go. Is that the one you're getting?
No,
Why not?
I don't know. I just like the looks of the non-deluxe one over the deluxe one.
So it's $12 extra for a deluxe wallet.
No, it's $14 more.
Oh yeah, it's $14 more for a deluxe wallet.
Yep. But it's a nice looking wallet.
Is it leather?
Says leather exterior.
Yeah. I guess then if you want to use it as a regular wallet, I guess you'd use any of those as a regular wallet.
Yeah, nothing's stopping you from using. Now
Maybe
you
I'll
can,
use a button shot game as a regular wallet.
now the thing it does stray is you can add $19 and get a play map, which
Okay.
yeah,
Well, now that defeats the purpose of
being travel size.
yeah.
Shipping is $5 for America.
That's not bad.
But yeah, you can back it for $10 or $24. There's a $3 version of print and play.
Which is a big deal right now.
But it's not a bad looking game. There's not many drafting games made just for two people.
Yeah.
So that was my first crowdfunding game.
All right. So my first one is called Fortress of Terror. It is a roll and write solitaire adventure game that comes in the print and play format. Print and play seems to be a huge Kickstarter thing right now. So this game is very simple. With your $5 pledge, it's a $5 base game. You get the rule book, you get a double-sided adventure sheet, a tutorial sheet, and 17 relic cards.
Okay.
Then there's an expansion module that is included with the pledge, which comes with the rules, a double-sided adventure sheet, 4 dungeon cards, 3 relic cards, and 12 ruin cards. So that's all the $5 pledge.
Okay.
And then what you need to provide is a pencil, 4 6-sided dice, a red basically 2 other color 6-sided. They're saying red and blue, a 4-sided die, and a 12-sided die. Then if you bump your pledge up to $8,
Okay.
you get the roll and write. This is the roll and write story pledge.
Okay.
Includes the basic pledge and adds a story deck to each adventure module.
Okay.
So that comes with story cards. Each deck of story cards is specific to the adventure module that you're playing. You simply draw a story card after each roll dice phase, read the story effect, and follow the instructions on the card. Story cards add thematic flavor, variety, and replayability of the game, and opens doors to more flexibility across this, what they call roll with it system.
Okay.
And man, they've hit a lot of stretch goals. Stretch goals added different modules.
Okay.
So again, these are the stretch goals. And if you play just that $8, you get the base game, you get that story card. Then there's also, so right now they've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more modules.
Okay.
So that is now 14 modules to this roll and write game for $8. Again, it's all print and play, which is fine. And they're almost to their next one. And some of these little modules look pretty cool. At least in the name. Lost City of Gold. Theme Park of Chaos. It's an evil mastermind is sabotaging the park rides, and it's up to you to save the guests from grisly fates. So how that works into the roll and write adventure, I don't know. But like I told Tim, for $8, man, this is, I think one to definitely check out. I mean, the rules are under gameplay. First, roll the dice. 2, activate the dice. Move, teleport, combat, and plus or minus to any dice. So that's the 4 different dice types.
Okay.
The enemy power and impending doom. It's all in the dice.
Mhm.
So seems to be fairly simple. I didn't read through the rule book just because I thought looking through that, it looks very simple. The tutorial sheets and everything. For $8, I think it's again one you should look at. The print and play things are a big hit right now on Kickstarter. And this is by Humble Bard Games, and it ends on April 29th. Humble Bard Games, this is their first thing. They also have another one coming out this year called Spirits of Christmas, and they have one planned for next year called Song of the Seas.
Okay.
So I'm very interested in this one. I've put out a bunch of these print and plays over the last couple months, and I keep forgetting to back them, which I'm bummed about because there have been some I really wanted to, but I think I might do this one while I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Keeping in the world of print and play, my second crowdfunding game, also on Kickstarter, is a print and play game. It is called Skirmish Chess.
I saw that one.
It's a quick and awesome chess battle, as they call it, and it has funded. They were looking for $532. They're at $677. There's 4 days to go. It ends May 2nd. Backing price is $11, so it's not too bad. And this print and play, you will need a 3D printer
Okay.
because you're printing 3D
Okay.
stuff. You're not. It's not paper. It's all files.
Okay.
And what you get with your files is your 3D printed board, your pieces, and your train.
All right.
And let me see if I can find the picture here. Okay, there's the pictures of your pieces. It comes with it's a shrunken down version of chess. You only get 6 pieces per team.
Okay.
You get 1 rook, 1 bishop, 1 knight, 1 king, 1 queen, and 1 pawn. They've chose some very interesting looking pieces.
Okay.
To say the least, like this one here, this dinosaur. That is your knight, and this knight looking piece is your bishop. And then, queen, king, and the fisherman's your pawn. Why they went with dinosaur for knight and knight for bishop?
Yeah, that's weird.
I would almost went this one, that's your bishop as your knight, and then the dinosaur as your bishop.
Why there's a dinosaur?
Yeah, they wanted to make it look interesting. The board is completely modular, so you can build it however you want. Now, it gives you different things you can print out, like bridges, trees, and whatnot. The only thing that falls flat in this game is the rules.
Okay.
Because I was looking on the page, and I'm like, well, it doesn't tell you anything about the game. It doesn't tell you anything about the game. Eventually, I realized you can click on the rule book, which I did. And
did you click on it in English or German?
In English.
Oh.
So I clicked on the rules, and depending what you roll, you start off with 2 dice and you roll, and then it tells you which 6 people you get.
Okay.
You automatically always get a king, and then you roll and it tells you your team setup. Other than that, it's just regular chess. They all move the same way. Like all this fancy terrain that you can print, like the muds, the trees, the water. Just aesthetics. It doesn't say you can't go through water. Nothing like that. I'm like, it missed opportunities.
Yeah, that would be really cool to change it up.
Like the only thing it said was, you can't go through trees because trees are like a dead spot.
Yeah.
But other than that,
you can't go into the water or you get stuck in the mud. That would be kind of cool.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you at home brewing your own rules.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting because then they show you pieces later on down here versus the full body.
Yeah.
But that's not what you get. It's a very weird thing.
You can print your own chibis.
I guess. Because it keeps showing you different things, but, eventually they're looking to add other terrain like columns, walls, crates, skulls. Once again, it's just terrain.
Yeah.
It has, I'm assuming walls you won't be able to go through, but I think it's missing. The rules are lax, but it looks interesting.
It's chess.
Well, I mean, with all the things they could have done with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a 3D printer and you love chess, I would suggest getting this for $11 to have these files, and then just make your own rules to use the fun terrain that you're getting. But that was Scrimmage Chess. That ends May 2nd. I will not be back in it because we don't have a 3D printer.
Yeah. We know people that do.
Yeah, and there's places you can go and use them.
But, all right. So my second game is a pretty big game. And they are actually, where did I see how much they're funded? Yeah. So this game, they asked for a pledge goal of $5,000.
Okay.
Which is reasonable. They're actually at $92,379 as of right now.
Which is unreasonable.
This is G.I. Joe Mission Critical from Renegade Game Studios and Hasbro. Can't forget Hasbro in that.
Okay.
So this falls in their Guardian system of play, which was their Power Rangers. Games fall under that. For those that don't know, Renegade Game Studios, some of their big games are Altiplano, Architects of the West Kingdom, Clank. So reputable game studio.
Okay.
They've done a lot. So in G.I. Joe Mission Critical, to me it looks a lot like the Marvel game we had, Marvel United.
Okay.
That's how I look at this. There's a deployment phase. Enemies are deployed to various locations.
Okay.
You reveal the top deployment card and take the indicated minis from the supply. Place the enemy minis at the location. Sounds a lot like Marvel United to me.
Yep.
There's an action phase. In this phase, the heroes collectively perform their actions.
Okay.
So you flip over one action token to perform one of the following moves: move, battle, recover.
Okay.
Players can perform their actions in any order. Then you resolve battles, alternating turns with the enemies. Heroes gain and spend energy tokens to resolve the effects. Call in vehicles, spend defeated foot soldiers from the hangar board to unleash the power of vehicle cards. Gameplay continues until the heroes prevail or the villains triumph. And you can actually mix this with the Power Rangers Heroes of the Guard game.
Okay.
So you could have Power Rangers and G.I. Joe battling together to face Cobra and whoever the Power Rangers bad guy is.
Well, they have several different ones, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But it looks cool. There's different pledge levels. For $99, you get the No Average Joe pledge, which is the Mission Critical base game with the Retro Snake Eyes, which is a Renegade exclusive, and the Vehicle Pack, which is a Renegade exclusive. Then you get the Mission Complete all-in pledge for $145. That's the base game, the Heavy Firepower expansion, the Dice Pack, the Retro Snake Eyes, and the Vehicle Pack.
Okay.
And there's a lot of minis in this. In the base game, there's 5 hero minis: Snake Eye, Scarlet, Duke, Stalker, Cover Girl, Cobra Commander, Baroness, Dr. Mindbender, Major Blood, and Copperhead.
Mm-hmm.
There's 24 foot soldiers, 12 Cobra ones, 12 Crimson Guard. You get your action dice, 135 cards. So there's a lot in there. Now you have to do the Heavy Firepower expansion
Okay.
to get Gun Ho, Bomb Strike, Roadblock, and Destro in Scrabble. So you don't get Destro and Gun Ho to the expansion.
Okay.
But again, it sort of fits the whole CMON Marvel United thing.
Yeah.
Renegade's really doing this. There's extras you can add on. I think the page is cool because it really buys into that 1980s G.I. Joe, knowing it's half the battle. Is one of the areas. Ends May 12th. I love the IP. I haven't gotten into any of the G.I. Joe games or Transformer games that Renegade has put out. I'd love to get the deck builder ones. The mini ones look cool, but right now, $145 for a game for me is just a tad bit out of my price range. But if I was doing this, I'd do the all-in because of getting that Destro, the extra cards, the extra everything with it. Again, ends May 12th. G.I. Joe Mission Critical from Renegade Game Studios.
Okay. My last crowdfunding game for this segment is... I don't know if I'm suggesting it because I like the game, or I picked it because I want to rant about it. Because I'm going to rant when I suggest this game. And that is the DC deck building game 10th anniversary.
Okay, so...
Well, let me first
let's start with...
Well, I was going to say when I finish.
Okay.
I'm going to give all the base stuff before I rant. That way...
Well,
so it ends May 12th.
Okay.
It has funded. They were asking for $50,000. They're at $600,000.
Okay. So, then let me ask you first question.
Okay.
Why would you buy this?
Why would I buy this?
Yes. Why would you get this?
Okay. I would get this because the certain things...
Well, let's go a different way first.
Okay.
Why should somebody out there get this? Let's start. Why would somebody that's never played DC Deck Builder, why should they back this?
If you've never played DC Deck Builder, do not back this.
Okay.
Because,
why should they not back this then?
Well, because the minimum price point is a little steep if you've never backed it because you don't know if you like it. You can get the base game for a whole lot cheaper.
Well, let's say you've played the base game.
And if you liked it?
Yeah. If you've only ever played the original DC Deck Builder and you want to get in, is this a good place to jump in?
It's tough because the smallest level gives you three... The smallest level is just expansions.
Okay.
And it's 3 expansions.
So you don't get the base game with this?
No.
So you have to own the base game to back this?
Correct. Well, I think one of the expansions is a standalone expansion.
Okay.
Which is the Injustice one.
Okay.
Which... I love the Injustice. I love the game. I love the comic book. It's one of my favorite DC story arcs out there.
I never played anything Injustice.
The main selling of this Kickstarter was for their box holder.
Okay, so this is where the rant is coming in because I know where this is going.
But that's not the base level pledge.
Okay.
Okay, for the base level pledge is $70.
All right.
And the problem I mainly have with Cryptozoic and this Kickstarter is all 3 of the expansions for this Kickstarter are Kickstarter exclusive. They said they'll never sell them. It's just this thing. If you don't get them now, tough toenails.
All right. And what are those 3 expansions?
The 3 expansions are, let me scroll all the way down to it because it makes it easier to look at.
For the base pledge.
Yep. Is...
Dear Lord, there's a lot of
okay. It's called The Injustice for All.
Okay.
So it comes with Injustice.
Okay.
Which is a story where Superman basically goes crazy after Lois Lane is killed by the Joker and becomes evil and the heroes split up. Which is the main standalone expansion.
Okay.
Then it comes with the rival expansion because DC Deck Builder has 3 types of expansions. Standalones, rivals, and the small box. So the rival expansion that's Kickstarter exclusive is Flash versus the Reverse Flash, which is a classic DC main hero, main villain story, Flashpoint, all that. Great story. One of my top 10 DC stories.
Okay.
Then the third, which is their small expansion, is the DC Bombshell expansion.
Okay.
One, like I said, Cryptico was smart because this is probably in my top 10 DC stories.
Okay.
It was a different universe where everything was like the 50 pinup
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
Guys were off in war.
Well, yeah, they had the bombshells for
Dice throw or
Dice
not,
Masters.
Yeah, great story. Because
That's my Dice Masters.
Yeah, great 50s artwork,
Yeah.
fun story. So I'm like, man, these are really great. I'm like, I don't know if I want to back it because it's $70. So then their big selling point is the multiverse box,
Yes.
which bumps this up to $135. Now it's the same as the 70, but you get an empty box with it. So they're saying this empty box is worth is $65.
Yes.
For an empty box.
Yes.
A $65 empty box. You can get a board game, a high-end board game for $65 that isn't an empty box.
So, you have the multiverse box.
I have edition 1.
Yes.
And it's great because
and that was expensive. That was like $40.
Yeah, it's $40.
That was a Christmas present.
Yeah. And it was a terrible box. And they even acknowledge that on this website. Because like we've heard people saying they want a better solution to store this game. And the first thing I thought was, you created that. And they're like, we heard your feedback how no one liked our first box. The main downside with their first box, it didn't fit the cards.
It didn't fit the big cards.
It didn't fit the big cards, and it had trouble fitting their
the dividers
that they gave you.
Yes.
So they're like, we made a product and it didn't work. And we understand that. And instead of being like, our bad, we're like, we came up with a $65 solution for you. A different empty box. And their big selling point is, it fits the cards. It should have fit the cards always. And this one claims it fits the bigger cards. There's going to be one row bigger. But, they claim that the dividers are going to fit in the original one. So how am I supposed to know that this is real?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't back it at the $135, even though it would solve a problem. I'm not paying $65 for it.
And we already have the other box.
Yeah.
And the regular cards fit in the other box.
Yeah.
It's just the big cards.
Correct. Now.
And we don't have enough of this.
Correct. But then they got trickier. Because they're like, how we can make more money? We'll make 2 big boxes with different artwork on for the people that have to be all collectors.
The completionists.
So I'm like, okay. You figure the price would be at $65 more, making it, $200. You would be wrong. It bumps up to, I think, $200 gets you a playmat and all that. I think it's $345 gets you both boxes, the playmat, and the expansions and some promos.
So that's what you're backing it at?
No. I mean, the box doesn't look great. I mean, the original box looked fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem is they didn't figure out that they should probably figure out that cards can fit in it.
Yeah.
And I love the thing because I know in a couple years they're going to come out with a third box.
Yeah.
Because people are complaining about this box because it doesn't solve one of the problems of the game already. There's tokens in it.
Yeah.
And people are like, can't you have a section where there's, a little box in the box?
Game trays.
Yeah. To hold the tokens. And the company's like, we hear you. We might work on that. Which leads me to believe in 5 years there'll be a 15th anniversary.
Yeah.
With an $85 empty box, but it holds tokens.
Yeah.
But it won't hold the oversized cards. That's for the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant, stupid, cryptozoic idea.
We figured out the token thing. We used the pill bottle.
But the pill bottles don't fit the biggest tokens. They just get thrown loosely in there. The best solution is to get an old baseball tuck case and put that in there. But $65 for an empty box. Now that is real tempting at the
Doesn't it show you how many people backed that?
What, at that level?
Yeah, it tells you.
I guess I can see. So at the $70 level, 713 people.
Is that going to be you?
It's really tempting. It's 3 of my favorite story arcs. And I know it's never going to be anywhere else. So I'm going to have to really think about it.
And this goes off when? May 12th?
May... 12th.
Well, you'll be paid.
I will be. But It's one of those things, you know. I don't want to give Cryptozoa money for being mean.
I mean,
Uh,
you already backed like 5 other things this month.
no, not really. I've only backed one thing this month.
Must be nice.
Technically last month. So at the 135 pledge, 1,200 people.
So there are 1,000
200 people getting an empty box.
that backed this probably for
The box.
The box.
Yeah. Then you move up to the 200 one, which gets you the mat. That's 613.
Okay.
And I'm gonna skip realtors because they get
Yeah.
other things. But there's only been 21 realtors. So.
Okay.
Then at the 345, it is 300 people.
Okay.
Oh, I was wrong. Apparently the promos don't come with that.
Yeah.
There's a level above at 365. Nope. Don't back it. Stupid computer. No. How do I get out of that? Click. Okay, well, I might have accidentally backed at that price. I'm going to have to fix it on my phone. No, don't back this project. How do I not back this project? Why? There we go. It's all clicked in. Nope, now it's saying I'm backing at a different price. Okay, well now I'm backing for almost $1,000. Well, I'm gonna stop clicking buttons because now I owe Cryptozoic $1,000. So I don't know how many people will have at that rate.
Okay.
You could look it up on your phone if you wanted to, because every time I click something, it says I keep backing. Pretty soon, if I back enough, I'll own Cryptozoic. That is a level. Own Cryptozoic.
Oh, Cryptozoic.
I think it's a tax dodge. They must be in legal trouble.
So, but if you like DC Deck Builder, let us know down below in the comments. Is this something you're backing? What level are you backing? Are you getting the box because it fixes the problems? Are you just getting the...
And what is your last crowdfunding game?
All right. So my third game is Birds of a Feather, Western North America. It's by Snowbright Studios.
Okay.
It's a re-implementation of Birds of a Feather from Nothing Sacred Games, which is the version we own. And this game is it's my top third game of all time.
Yeah.
It's a set collection
Yeah.
hand management game. To learn more about it, watch our fives from this month. I talked a lot about it then. But what makes this different from the original is that now there's rules for 2 and 3 players that make the game more strategic, which I'm hoping they just come out and I can print those off and use our deck. And the graphic design, same designer, same artist. They're just updated art.
Yeah.
And it's $20 for the game. It ends May 5th. And there's another level where you get the game plus 4x6 photo packs.
Wooden puzzle.
Yeah, puzzle.
Stickers.
So, but I would definitely recommend this game just because it's my third favorite game of all time. And $10, it's a great place to jump into this. By calling it Western North America makes me think at some point they're going to have Eastern North America with different birds. But I'm fine having my version. I don't need to go all in like those with the DC Deck Builder need to buy every little thing.
Like I said, I accidentally clicked 5 buttons. I've backed 6 different levels.
But definitely check out Birds of a Feather, Western North America. Again, ends May 5th. If you're backing anything we've talked about, let us know. Or let us know what you're backing in general on Kickstarter. Have you gotten any Kickstarters in lately?
Yep.
Or what about on GameFound? Anything over there that you're backing? I know Sleeping Gods is on there right now, getting lots of traction. But let us know in the comments, again, what you're backing, what you're excited to see on Kickstarter coming up in the future here.
Yeah. What we might have missed that you think we should have taken a look at?
Yeah. If you think we should come out with our own
Yep.
Kickstarter,
If we do, it's gonna be an empty box. We're gonna charge $65 for it.
yep,
Yeah.
not different sizes and different prices.
Nope, one box doesn't fit anything properly.
Spot UV box,
No, smallest box you can think of.
individually autographed and numbered.
Yep.
Spray painted.
Misnumbered. This first box is senior. The second box is junior. The first box burns. That box moves up.
Yep. And then the third one becomes junior.
Yep. It's the rules of suffixes for boxes.
Yep.
Check out our other video to figure out what we're talking about now.
Which you still won't understand.
No, we don't.
But with that, again, hit the thumbs up. Leave a like.
Same
subscribe. Ring the bell.
Share the video. It does help. We're getting close to 50 subscribers.
Yep. Check out the other videos. Check us out on Instagram and what other social media Tim has us on.
Yep. It's all of them.
Yep.
Minus TikTok, Friender, LinkedIn, Facebook.
You should start a TikTok page.
Yep.
But do check us out. Again, leave comments. We love to hear comments. And with that.
Yep. As always, stay sweet, even though I've been incredibly bitter. Hello, and welcome to the monthly Melts Off topic for the month of April 2022. For this month, I got to choose our off topic.
Yep.
This month, I came up with one that's been puzzling me lately, and that is suffixes.
Okay.
The
suffix.
Yeah.
The thing at the end of your name.
Yeah, I was trying to pluralize it, which I don't know. I guess that'd be suffixes. And I was pondering that lately, mainly because there's a lot of people in sports that are juniors.
Yeah.
Or in wrestling, there's people that have the same, like Ted DiBiase Jr. and whatnot.
Yeah.
And when we used to do the thing for Tom at the game table, my announcer was senior, junior, the third.
Yeah.
So it got me thinking, what are the rules to suffixes?
I don't think there really are.
Well, you don't normally see women with that, but I looked that up and, it's not gender-based, so you can have, Mary Wilson the second, Mary Wilson the third,
okay,
and so on. But my thought was, what happens if Mary Wilson Jr. gets married?
Well,
Does Mary Wilson the third become Mary Wilson Jr. then? Does she move up in the ranks of the Mary Wilson sisters?
I don't know.
See?
I mean, did you look this up?
No, because if I looked up the answer, then I would have this as an off topic. These are questions that are probably answered, but I thought, well, maybe this is something you would know, and
Why would I know this?
Maybe our community of chocolatiers, good name for them, probably. Maybe they know. Maybe we have a person that watches our channel that's a professional namologist, genealogist, person that masters in names. So, because I first thought, oh, maybe this is something that's purely gender-based, because you never see it for females, and then they point out, it's not gender-based at all. So you can have all the female juniors, the thirds, fourths, etc. that you want. But then when I got to that question with would Mary Wilson the third move up to second, got me questioning about different scenarios. I guess you figured out something. So
well, there's actually a little chart here, and this is interesting.
Okay.
So the example they use, and this is just male.
Okay.
I'm going to look up female too.
Okay.
So the guy they use is Barnabas Ludwig Johnson.
Okay.
Who's the first.
Yeah.
So Barnabas Ludwig Johnson has Barnabas Ludwig Johnson the second, and Barnabas Estrado Johnson.
Okay.
He's not the second.
Well, yeah, because it's a different name.
Okay. So even though both his kids could be Barnabas Johnson, only Barnabas Ludwig Johnson is the second.
Correct.
Now, Barnabas Ludwig Johnson has Barnabas Ludwig Johnson, who becomes the third.
Correct.
Okay, so he was born, and the year they use here is 1972. Now, Barnabas Estrado Johnson has a son, Barnabas Ludwig Johnson, who actually becomes the fourth.
Correct.
Even though he's not the son of Barnabas Ludwig Johnson III. Because he was born in 74, they're using. And then Barnabas Ludwig Johnson IV has Barnabas Ludwig Johnson V.
Okay.
So here, Barnabas Ludwig Johnson III and the fourth would be cousins.
Okay.
And Barnabas Ludwig Johnson III would be the uncle to Barnabas Ludwig Johnson V. Not father and grandfather.
Well, see, that brought up my second question I was going to give you, like the case with the George Foreman's instances.
Yeah.
So,
but they're all his children.
Yes. But his children then start naming themselves George Foreman's. So it just goes on who's born first is a ticket system?
Yes. According to this, yes.
But that's just a picture. That's not research behind that. You just click. I'd like to see research behind that picture. Because my argument was, because this brings up back to the days of Gamel tape. Gamel tape. The game table racing league when I was Senior Johnson.
Senior, Junior,
the third. And I had my son who was Senior, Junior.
The fourth?
No, because I named him myself, so I named him Senior, Junior, the third, Junior, making myself Senior, Junior, the third, Senior. Could I add a suffix into my kid's name, therefore starting another line?
I don't know. But here's another. You're way out of left field.
Well, no, I'm saying because
so if a man has a nephew named after him,
okay,
then the uncle gets the first number suffix and the nephew gets the second. But if the uncle then has a child of his own, also the same exact name, then his own son takes the third number. So I could be Doug Beatty Sr.
Yeah.
If you had a kid and named them, well, it'd be Douglas Richard Beatty. And then if you had a kid and named him Douglas Richard Beatty, I would be Senior, he would be Junior. And then if I had a kid and named him Douglas Richard Beatty, he'd actually be the third.
Correct.
Even though he'd be my son because of the way they were born. So I guess technically it doesn't go. It's not based on direct lineage. It's based on when you're born into the family.
Yeah, it's based. It's a first come first serve name basis.
There apparently are rules about this.
But then my question becomes, that gives me power over your name at that point. As your family member, I'm like, I'm going to make you a senior because I'm naming my kid after your name.
Whoa.
So all of a sudden, I've forced the suffix upon you.
So apparently, I could have a kid. So again, we're going to go here in the example, Beavis Winston Purple.
Okay.
Has a kid, Beavis Winston Purple. And then he has a little brother that they would name Beavis Wilford Purple.
Okay.
Or no. So the guy's name is Beavis Winston Purple. Has a son he names Beavis Wilford Purple.
Okay.
Has another son he names Beavis Wilford Purple.
Okay.
So the older one would be Beavis Wilford Purple the first. The other would be Beavis Wilford Purple the second.
Correct.
Even though they're brothers.
Well, yeah. That's just the rule of naming. He wouldn't be a senior, he'd be of the first, like royal families that you see in monarchs. You're Earl Grey Tea of the first, you're Earl Grey Tea of the second.
If you pass away, so we're going back to Barnabas Ludwig Johnson.
Okay.
If Barnabas Ludwig Johnson has a son, so he's a junior.
Correct.
So there's Barnabas Ludwig Sr., or Barnabas Ludwig Johnson Sr., Barnabas Ludwig Johnson Jr.
Correct.
When Barnabas Ludwig Johnson Sr. dies, he is no longer Barnabas Ludwig Johnson Sr. He becomes Barnabas Ludwig Johnson the first, and Barnabas Ludwig Johnson Jr. becomes Barnabas Ludwig Johnson the second.
Well, he was always the second.
He was a junior. But you no longer become junior, you become the second.
Okay.
So technically, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
is Dale Earnhardt the
second.
second. Yes. So all his merch is wrong. And you should point that out to him in a scathing email.
This is like sort of fascinating.
It's exactly. That's why I named my person Senior and Junior the third.
Whoa, okay. So this really gets interesting. So Barnabas Ludwig Johnson has a son, Barnabas Estrado Johnson. This is the other dude's brother.
Okay, so the brother's son.
So Barnabas Ludwig Johnson has a son, Barnabas Estrado Johnson. He has a son called Barnabas Ludwig Johnson.
Okay.
Who would be the second.
Correct.
Then he has a son, Barnabas Ludwig Johnson, who becomes the third.
Correct.
When the original Barnabas Ludwig Johnson passes away, he's still the first, but then the Barnabas Ludwig Johnson, the second, becomes Barnabas Ludwig Johnson Sr., and then Barnabas Ludwig Johnson, the third, becomes Barnabas Ludwig Johnson Jr.
Okay.
So I guess you actually stay the same, second and senior and third and junior. So are you then technically Barnabas Ludwig Johnson the second, or senior the second?
Not
Barnabas Ludwig Johnson the third, junior.
As long as my fictional character's father was still alive, it's fine.
But once dead, senior and junior suffixes can't be used. Man.
Okay.
Okay. So whew, man, there's way too. Thank goodness.
There's rules to names.
Thank goodness I'm not a junior, senior, second, or third.
Because then you eventually, at one point, you have to change your business cards.
There are 10 different rules here.
I can believe that.
Rule 1, parent and child with same name equal junior and senior.
Makes sense.
Rule number 2, in order to use suffixes, names must be exactly the same.
Okay.
Rule number 3, for more than two same named individuals, use Roman numeral suffixes. That's where you get 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
You know, I, IV.
It's weird that they forced the rule of Roman numerals. You just can't use the English 2 and the
Rule 4, senior, junior only apply to living parents and children.
Okay.
Rule number 5, Roman numeral suffixes are allowed to skip generations. Rule number 6, senior and junior Roman numeral suffixes can be used together.
Okay.
Rule number 7, once dead senior and junior suffixes cannot be used.
Okay.
Rule number 8, same named uncles and nephews can use Roman numeral suffixes.
Okay.
Rule 9, even cousins can use Roman numeral suffixes. Numerals go in order of birth.
Okay.
Rule 10, chronologically determines order of Roman numerals. So chronologically.
Yeah.
Rule 11, same name siblings can use Roman numeral suffixes. Rule 12, females can use suffixes but typically don't.
I told you they could.
Because they use that Beavis Winston Purple was married to Angelique Faversham Purple, who then had a daughter, Angelique Faversham Purple.
And she
became the second.
Not junior?
Nope, the second. Females can use suffixes, but typically don't. So I guess she could become junior.
Yeah, and her mother would be senior.
So those are the 12 rules.
Which makes me now wonder if there's a feminine version of senior and junior.
Wow, then you get like old school with master and bursars and...
But that still didn't answer the original question of this whole video. If Mary Winslow, the second and third, would marry, does the third become the second if the second is no longer around?
No. You don't just move up. Well, apparently you do.
Exactly. So if Mary Winslow would marry like Greg Bob, because I'm picking normal names on like these things, and she became Mary Bob, then Mary Winslow the third would become Mary Winslow the second. Because Mary Winslow II would have never existed
How
then.
do name suffix work for women?
There you go. I mean, you could have said it loud. It's not like they don't know you're looking it up.
Well, and it came up with how to make socks for women.
True.
How do name suffixes work for women?
It probably gives you the same answer, or it gives you like Queen Elizabeth II as their most famous version. Which I don't think
Apparently they use tricks.
Yeah.
So here's a whole question. Can a woman be a junior or senior? Apparently there are 22 things to this. What is it called when a daughter is named after the father? What should I name my princess? How do I name my daughter after my dad? Can you give your child a... Holy cow.
I guess a daughter could be named after her dad. I mean, actually used to be a male's name for the longest time. That's how you get men that
Can
go
a daughter
by
be a junior?
Ash.
Girls took the last names of their husbands when they got married. Hold on. Girls can also give the suffixes junior and the second, but it's not as common as it is with boys. It was sometimes done in generations or ancestors, but never became widely used as it is with boys, since girls took the last names of their husbands when they got married. Junior is actually genderless. Just simply means younger.
Yeah, I guess that's...
What are female junior called? Although there are instances of daughters who are named after their mothers and thus use the suffix junior. Well, Anna Eleanor Roosevelt Jr. or after their grandmothers, suffix is second. It's not common.
So see, I learned that junior is genderless.
How do you convert junior sizes to women? Well, we don't need that. How do you get senior in your name? In many words, I don't know. Now,
wasn't one of the questions that I answered in that article, can you just add a suffix to people? Because that'd be something I'd be interested too.
You just want to become like Timothy Beatty.
Well, I know I could do it if I
third.
Well, no, I would have to pay for it at this point. But if I had a kid and be like, you are now Timothy Beatty the 5th, and they're like, where's 2 through 4? I've just named you the 5th. Kind of the situation.
I don't think one of the things was, can you just give yourself that? It's not one of the things.
It's not one of the options.
Can you just make yourself a junior?
Yeah.
Can you just make yourself a senior or junior?
Now, I'm sure if I looked back in our family tree long enough, somebody was probably named Timothy Beatty. The problem is I don't know if they have my same middle name.
It's all about becoming senior and junior developers.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there you go. The rules.
The loosely based rules. I mean, you just look. You did no research besides going on.
Ask the internet.
Yeah, you didn't fact
well,
check.
Isn't that how we do it nowadays?
There was no fact checking in there, so we're just going off of people that went with Ludwig von Purple III.
If Mary Wilson Sr. passes away, does Mary Wilson Jr. become senior?
Well, yeah.
All it's giving me is Mary Wilson of the Supremes.
Because it would follow the same rules as the men. But my thing was, it's not that she died, it's that the second got married and changed her name. So now it no longer falls the lady.
Well, then actually you'd lose your junior status.
Well, yeah, because she'd be...
You would be senior, you just lose your junior.
Well, no, because the third would bump up.
No.
Yeah.
This isn't like...
Because the second one...
Because, when you're the first and second,
the second...
you don't move up in that hierarchy.
The second cease to exist. They're not dead, but they don't exist anymore. By namesake, that person is dead.
No.
So the third bumps up
No,
into the
because they didn't in the Roman numeral way.
Okay, so then we go from senior, who would still be alive, Junior, who would be dead, and then the third would still remain the third.
They're not dead.
Name-wise, they're dead.
They just changed their name.
Their name has died. They are alive. Their name is dead.
Well, no, because there are women that. So it would be their maiden name, so it's still there.
Correct, but legally, if they change it for tax reasons, blah 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 blah, voting,
But if they hyphenate it.
Well, then it's still not the same because it's based off
But then, so that if they'd have kids and then they name their kids the same with the hyphenated name, they could become. Does that then start a new line?
Because if she would get married, she's now like Mary Wilson Estrada. She wouldn't be Mary Wilson Estrada Jr. Because
but if they had another daughter named it that same thing,
she'd become senior, and the kid would become junior.
But then what about like the Mary Wilson? She had a sister, Mary Wilson, who was just older, and
she would be the third yet because she didn't move up, even though I claim senior died or the second did. And you didn't.
The name changed.
Correct. Senior would remain until they died, and then the third would become senior. Would become the first, or senior. The middle child, name who changed, wouldn't exist, theoretically named. And then anything that branch off of that would be just continuance.
So if you were completely lost in all this logic...
I understood this perfectly.
I couldn't follow that one bit. If you could follow that, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
If you know the rules to
Suffices.
all this...
Next month it gets harder. Prefixes.
Yep. Well, nowadays that is harder.
Exactly.
Because, of all the Mr., Mrs., Doctor, him, her.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And all that. But, so, if you understand anything of what we were trying to talk about today, put it in the comments. If you are a junior, a senior, a third, any one of those.
And make sure to write third in Roman numerals. That's apparently the rules. I don't want to see any squiggly threes.
Or written out.
Yeah, none of that. It says Roman numerals. That's apparently a word law.
See,
laws.
At this point, if I'd be like that far down the branch, I'd want either to be like the 5th or the 4th, the 5th, like the 9th, 10th, 11th. I want some cool looking Roman numeral.
Yeah. If anything else, you should get onto the Twitter right now. Find Dale Earnhardt Jr. Bug him. Say he's wrong. He's now Dale Earnhardt II.
Yeah.
Stop lying to us, racing man. And any other racing juniors out there, they're all lying to us if their papas are gone.
So Ricky Stenhouse Jr., his dad is still alive.
You gotta look up all the juniors and stop telling them to lie to us.
Yeah.
They be the seconds. They gotta learn to live with it. They avoided their whole life coming in second being race car drivers. Now that's what they are.
Yeah. But anyways, again, if you have
An off topic?
An off topic. If you understood what we talked about, if you have a suffix in your name, if you understand the rules, if you had any idea what he was trying to describe,
I described it perfectly. I use normal names.
let that in the comments. Do hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all our other social media. And is that everything?
That's everything. As always, stay sweet.